Oh my god, Nintendo has just announced they're making a live-action Zelda movie with, get this, Sony Pictures. That's right, a live-action movie is on the way, though they've only begun development, it sounds like, giving us only a handful of details of who's involved in this project, and we don't have a release year or even a timeline at all. So Joey, go ahead and fill us in on a few of the finer details they gave us here.
I will say, it's not going to take as long as a game takes. We might see this in 3 years, who knows? But yeah, so the details are as follows. Shigeru Miyamoto and Nintendo basically are co-funding this live-action Legend of Zelda movie with Sony Pictures Entertainment. Avi Arad is pretty much the producer on the project. If you don't know who Avi Arad is, he's responsible for every single Spider-Man movie, pretty much, and a large majority of the films over at Columbia Pictures, Sony Entertainment, stuff like that.
That's a good thing, then. Right?
He gave us Morbius, so we're gonna be in for some. Okay, but here's the thing: like he's produced so many movies, not all of them are gonna be hits. Like that, it's just the nature of the business.
Is it not worth it for Link for his first words to be? It's Morbin time.
Don't say it. I hate you so much. But let's get to the real creative aspect of it. The director of the film is Wes Ball. Mostly known for the Maze Runner series of movies. And that might be the one thing that makes me wince a little. These movies, I mean, the first one was enjoyable, but the two after that were just like, eh. But, you know, Wes Ball's kind of a director from what I've gathered at least. He seems to be the kind of director that follows what studios tell him to. And that's maybe why he got the project. Because Nintendo, much like the Mario movie, is going to be heavily involved in this project.
Yeah.
But although his upcoming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie, that's his most, I wouldn't say his most recent movie, but that's his new upcoming project, that might look pretty sweet, so who knows, maybe we'll see there. But again, I expect, much like the Mario movie, this will be directed by Nintendo, more than anyone.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, we saw this with the Mario movie, effectively, where Nintendo is extremely hands-on. Although I will say, you can also see some Illumination influence there, right. I think, for the better. And they made a really good partnership, and that's what I hope from this. So, like, those are all the major details we have now, Joey, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Very few, but the fact that we already have a director means, like, this... I anticipate this project may get filming pretty soon. I don't know, I thought that about the Metal Gear Solid movie. We still haven't seen anything of that.
Keep in mind, there's still an actor strike going on, so it can't be that soon.
Not that soon. It would be nice if it was soon. Everyone, just pay the actors what they're worth.
Yep. If only so we can get the Zelda movie now.
Yes, now I really want this strike to be over.
I do have more faith that this might be something we see on the sooner end than later end, because you look at, like, Marvel announcing projects, like, 4 years out, and it's like, what do you have for it? A title, or not even a title. We know it's about Avengers. It's untitled. We don't know who's involved. We don't know who's producing any of that. We know Nintendo's involved. We know Avi's involved. We know who's directing it. That's already more than Marvel gives us a lot of the time.
Yeah, see, I'm not expecting this anytime soon. I really think this is a preliminary announcement by Nintendo. I'd be shocked if they even have so much as a script ready to go. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we found out about the Mario movie, what, in 2017? I think 18 maybe? They were rumbling for a while.
But animated movies take a very long time, is the thing.
But this is Nintendo too, and they're gonna want to make sure they do it right.
That's fair.
At least I hope so. So first off, we're getting a little lost in the weeds here, because they're making a Zelda movie. Something people have been asking for forever, something I've wanted forever. Obviously, this was kind of, I think, people expect it might be the next project, given the Mario movie's success, but still having it confirmed by Nintendo, by Miyamoto. I love, by the way, how the tweet is, "This is Miyamoto." Once again, like the voice of God coming in, and just laying it out there. Yeah, we're making a Zelda movie. That is freaking huge. That is awesome, and I'm so excited after the success of the Mario movie with how much I liked it. But I will say, I am actually surprised, and I think happy, about the fact it's live action. And I'm curious to know what we think of that.
I'm very shocked. I am very like I've always wanted a live action Zelda movie, like in particular live action. I did not think Nintendo would ever do that, though. I thought they would be like, no, we are the family friendly company. We're gonna make family friendly things. And the best way to do that is with an animated movie. And I thought, I think there were rumors earlier this year that it was going to be tied to Illumination once again. Illumination be the ones doing it. Jake and I had a whole discussion on that, so you can wipe that from the slate. That's not happening. It's live action. That is surprising. That's very surprising because, of course, Nintendo being kid-friendly. This movie still could be relatively kid-friendly, but when you get the director Wes Ball, who's done things like the Maze Runner. Like, yeah, those are YA movies, but they get dark. They get like literally dark and figuratively dark. So who's to say what they're going for here? It's too soon to tell what their creative vision is. Give me Twilight Princess live action, basically, though. That's my dream.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine
one.
if they specifically went with Twilight Princess? That'd be wild. Literally with the dark too. No,
Yeah.
but I think it is really surprising that it's live action specifically, because like you mentioned, with the success of the Mario movie, we expected this Illumination partnership to really be what drives them in the movie industry before they branch out into more. But seeing that they're already, for the second project, going with something completely different and really branching out, I think it's really exciting. Because I think it shows just how serious they're taking it. They're not playing it safe. You know, they're not doing it on the animated. They're not doing it with the Illumination again. It's their second thing is already with a different group and live action, already like blowing expectations for it out of the water there, which is fantastic, I think.
Yeah, I think you are. I think you are right when you say they're not playing it safe here. I mean, some might. I mean, I guess some might argue the opposite. But that's how most live-action movies have been to date for gaming. But most of them have been terrible. Also, see the original Mario movie. You know, and you know, I think it's scary because for one, I think if they nail it, it could be amazing. Like it could really actually expand the demographic for Zelda.
Right.
Whereas I think animated might have limited it more so, at least to a younger audience or the typical fans, and wouldn't have the reach that Mario did. But on the other hand, I also think there's way more potential for all of this to go horribly, horribly wrong, as we've seen many times before, especially in the Zelda universe, where there is a lot of weird, quirky things that may not translate well to a live action style.
You can't put Beetle in live action. You just can't.
Exactly, right. And that's why I'm so curious about it. Like, who are they going to cast? How are they, you know, Link's going to have to talk now. I mean, I assume, you know, they're going to have he's going to have a voice. And I already joked on Twitter with Sony making this or being involved. Is it going to be Tom Holland playing Link? God, I hope not.
Man.
And I can't, it's honestly almost hard. On the one hand, like we've seen so many like, you know, fan films and parodies, the IGN live action Zelda trailer from, you know, 15 years ago now, you know, that it's not hard to envision on some level, but on the other hand, it is something that actually works, you know. And to be fully fair, I actually love the IGN trailer. I thought it was amazing.
I love that.
I love it so much.
I did too. But so I'm really curious to see how they capture it, because as you mentioned as well, you know, with the demographics, like it feels like this might skew a little older too, perhaps along the lines of like, you know, Hunger Games as well, which I think wouldn't be the worst style to go for.
Yeah, I mean, even like I always think Lord of the Rings too, but like I don't think that's gonna go. I'm not expecting anything to be ever as good as that trilogy in a million years. But yeah, I always, when I think of this now that it's live action, I do think like somewhat on the darker end, but not like too dark, you know, like nothing like it's super serious, because Zelda's not super serious. It's not. You got characters like Tingle. You got characters like, again, Beetle. Like, I feel like they're going to have to take some creative liberties by, like, maybe cutting those characters or severely modifying them. Of course, we're getting really in the weeds here. We really don't know much about this project, of course. But it's still fascinating to talk about, because so much live action, it is limiting. It is fairly limiting.
I think it really depends, too, on how they handle adapting Zelda, and by which I mean, are they going to be doing it like the Mario movie, where it's another like origin story? It's not really adapting a specific game, but kind of an amalgamation of all the different ideas we're all comfortable with Mario now, you know, being told again? Or is this going to be like they're taking a specific era of Zelda to adapt? Like, could this be them saying, hey, we're doing live action because we want to do a Breath of the Wild era Zelda movie, for example?
I want it to be a fully fleshed out version of that Zelda Wii U demo we saw like 12 years ago.
The dream.
I love what is hilarious. Actually, I love that it took a movie for us to finally get that super realistic Zelda that we've been wanting, you know. And it makes me wonder, like, how are they even going to handle the environments? Like, are there going to be a lot of like fully integrated sets, like, you know, classic, you know, older movies, or is it going to be a ton of CG? And that makes me worried too, because we've seen, like, especially in Marvel films, I know people are going to get on me for ragging on them again, but like, you know, the environments don't really ever mesh too well with the characters,
especially in the later ones. Nobody's going to give you crap for that comment, Andre. Every Marvel fan's pretty much thinking that, like yeah, it's but at the same time, based on a video game, I can kind of forgive a lot of CGI. Maybe, like, of course, still like figure out how to put some more practical stuff in there, like especially sets. Like, if there's anything that's got to be practical, make it those sets. But again, if like the villain, if like the moblins are CGI, I'm gonna be like, okay, this is based on a video game, which is all CG, which is all pretty much CG.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're. I mean, there's any number of directions that could go with it. I guess myself, like when I'm envisioning this, I'm looking for. I myself am hoping for like a more grounded approach. You know, like a classical fantasy style movie, like in the like I guess if it looks like an 80s movie with CG augments, that'd be perfect. Where you get the grounded set feel, but then you have the more the more elaborate characters actually portrayed through CG. I imagine. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. It's even hard to picture how this is gonna work. But
it really is hard. Like I've always pictured like if there was a director to be involved, like give it to Guillermo del Toro, because he is just a god when it comes to those effects. Like he just really is like an effects god. But that's the thing, right? I know for a fact they did not hire a director as well known as him, because the studios would be fighting with them constantly. Directors like that have a very clear vision that they want to give, and that's more than likely going to collide with what Nintendo wants. So
yeah,
I think that's why they went with Wes Ball, because it seems to me like he's one of those directors that doesn't really fight studios that much on what they want.
I see. Interesting. I'm not too familiar with like Maze Runner, other than I know like it's based on, it's not just a completely original film series. So, this is also someone therefore that has familiarity with working with adaptation.
That's true also.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to the era of what this could be, and I kind of hope it is just a remix of Zelda. Just take whatever elements work well from the games and just combine them all together. Like this could almost be like a fresh starting point for it. Like because the games themselves barely concern themselves with having a cohesive story between titles. So
right.
why even bother adhering to any one game?
Right.
Just pull from what works. Because they're gonna have to redevelop. I mean, they're gonna have to reinvent how a Zelda story works anyway. We're not gonna see Link go to 8 different dungeons, taking out bosses and grabbing keys, right? So I'm trying to think how's that gonna work? So I think Indiana Jones is probably a good template. Maybe it'll probably open it may open
a good template of Doom.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Perfect. But then if it is an origin story, it can't open in a dungeon, right? Like it would have to open with Link waking up.
I don't know.
Like in
you
all
could
the
do that
games.
actually. You could do that. They could like start it off like it's in the middle of his story, and then they occasionally cut back to what it was like. There's so many possibilities at play here, and all I know is that I don't want them to do like a direct maybe not direct adaptation like story wise, but it's just like I don't want them to just put like the setting of Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom and slap it in there. Honestly, if there was anything, I'd say maybe tone it down a bit on like the technology side of things, commit more to like the medieval setting like established in like the very first Zelda game, Ocarina of Time as well. So that's what I picture in my head. I'm not going to be producing or writing this thing, but that's what I would prefer at least.
Link better not be making all kinds of crazy vehicles in this movie.
No. No, please, God, no.
Look, all I really ask about Link is that he's not some real-world, person from a city that gets sent to this world.
Oh my god, like Monster Hunter. No.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Okay, that was a legit fear I had of the Mario movie, and luckily they avoided that, and I think they're gonna do it here too. Yeah, they can't do it. Link has to be just a part of this world, whether he's a Kokiri, is it? Kokiri child, forest, whatever, or just, an elf, whatever it is. I do hope, though, I guess when I think of Zelda, maybe it's just, my age showing here, but I do think more back to the original line of games, like the NES to the Super NES games, and I think, and maybe through Ocarina even, like that, if they can kind of nail that overall vibe somehow, that's what I want.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been wanting too. Like just keep it a little simple, and like the medieval-ish setting is sort of that way. I know as the years have gone on, like they've grown to be a little more steampunk in that sense. Even like Tears of the Kingdom, I look at all this steampunk stuff like Robbie's Lab, and I'm just like, how is this gonna work in live action? It's not.
They had a steam train in Phantom Hourglass.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, Spirit Tracks, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
But no, I like you mentioned earlier, Andre, how we really might get like this kind of hodgepodge amalgamation of a bunch of different things that work from Zelda, and I think that really is the best way for them to handle this. Like Joey, you mentioned maybe no Beetle and Tingle. No, I don't think we're gonna get them, but I do think we'll see characters from different Zelda games that normally weren't part of the same one that are kind of here together. Like for example, this game might have its own spin on the champions from Breath of the Wild, but a completely unrelated to Breath of the Wild plot. Just to have these characters representing these races here that are familiar, that'll get people interested. While maybe at the same time having like the light spirits from Twilight Princess play a role, oh, the world's falling to darkness kind of thing. Like there's elements in different Zelda games you can really pull together to work that I think would help it not just be a generic medieval movie, because I think that's also a trap Nintendo wants to make sure they don't fall into.
Yeah, that's a good point too. They could be almost too safe and make it just feel too generic and not Zelda-like.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I think, even challenging for Nintendo to yeah, not that they're incapable of it, but I think it is going to be a challenge. Like, what is the essence of Zelda, and how does that work in a live-action setting? That's going to be a tough challenge they're going to have to face. Mario is definitely, I think, the easier of the two projects. Not that they have its own challenges. So
I'm starting to think, Andre, this is going to take long, like you said. Because that's going to be, most of the time, it's going to be them trying to figure out, how the heck do we make this live-action, make this work in live-action?
Exactly. And the fact that he did not even give us a target date, Joey, really makes me worried that this is going to be another, like, 4 to 5 plus year project, and we may not even see it until, like, close to 2030.
I mean, if that wouldn't be so bad, though, if it takes them this long. I'd rather wait super long for a good Zelda movie than crap like that medieval movie Seventh Son. Remember Seventh Son? Of course you don't. It was bad.
Oh, I mean, I fully agree. Take as much time as you need. It's just like, do we need to know about it this early? I guess it would have leaked eventually at some point, so I get it. It just kind of, it sucks knowing we may be in for a long wait here,
They just want to make investors happy with that announcement, I'm pretty sure.
That too.
Yeah.
Sony wants to make their investors happy, Nintendo wants to make their investors happy. Yeah.
Also, just how wild is it that Nintendo is working with Sony on this? It is hilarious how these movies are bringing Nintendo back to their rivals. They were sued by Universal back in the day for Donkey Kong. Now they're working with their longtime rival to make a movie, And it's just, I don't know, just funny how things
it is
work
funny.
Times change.
Yeah, Sony was supposed to do the Sonic movie too until they sold that to Paramount. So yeah,
that's right.
It's kind of funny in that sense. I just love how Spider-Man ties into all this for some reason.
And Sony did also they have done another video game adaptation before with Angry Birds, right?
That was them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, for a while those movies were pretty successful from what I remember. Speaking of film, I'm trying to focus in because I look so blurry.
Nice.
But yeah, if we have nothing else to add, I want to ask about casting. What's our dream, or who do we think is going to be in this movie? Not necessarily who we want, but who do we think?
I don't have a specific person hope, but I really hope when they cast specifically Link, I hope Link is like actually played by like a teenager.
I hope he's played by, like, not only by a teenager,
30+.
not only by a teenager, but Chris Carpenter.
Yes, Chris.
Make him
Amazing. That'd be so good.
Let's get Chris in. Yes.
Our old colleague.
But for real, like, don't make him a celebrity. Like, cast him as somebody relatively unknown, or just even completely unknown. And then, like, I don't know, make the rest of the cast celebs. I don't care. I will bet money. I will bet money that Florence Pugh is going to be Zelda. I bet you money, like 100.
I heard that name recently. Wasn't she up, rumored to be something else?
I don't know. I don't know if she was tied to any rumors. But yeah, she's been making it big recently. She kind of looks like Zelda. Like,
yeah, she's got that like regal look about her.
She's playing a prince. I think she's playing a princess or a queen or something in that new Dune movie too. So she kind of has that
there
look.
We go.
It depends on if they want Link and Zelda to be the same age. Because obviously, us
that's
now
true.
About
She's gonna be old.
Older. Yeah, now talking about Link being played by like a teenager for that, kind of adult Link from Ocarina of Time age, versus if Florence was playing Zelda, she'd be significantly older than Link, which would be a very different story and dynamic between Link and Zelda.
That's also kind of true. Yeah, I forgot.
Which wouldn't be bad.
I forgot she's like gonna be 30 by the time this movie's out. So, so yeah, that's very true. Yeah, the casting is just like that can be a whole discussion on its own.
Yeah, but it is. That's gonna be a tough one. Like, are they gonna go for the younger, more teenage Link? Are they gonna skew young adult? I have no idea. There's so many questions about this, and if you do go with a child, that just complicates things further. They could age during the production of the movies. You have to make sure you're filming on a tight time schedule. I don't know, and especially how that affects the sequels too. They're not going to be a kid forever, of course.
Yeah.
How do we know this movie is gonna get sequels though? I know for a fact they're planning at least a trilogy. Like you can't tell.
Different Link every time.
What if Chris?
If you go the trilogy route, that's how you bring back the Triforce. One piece in every movie. Bring back the Triforce. Where has it gone? It used to be the key thing in the series. They don't even talk about it anymore.
I missed the Triforce. I
missed it too. Like that could be, and that could actually really, I think, lead to some really cool set pieces. If you have like the villain like making wishes with this thing, and like doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I guess for me, I mentioned it. Lucy touched on it earlier. A Link to the Past. I think that's your story right there. Keep it simple. Get rid of the Dark World. You don't need it. I guess maybe you do. I don't know. As for casting, I have no idea who I'd cast. You got me. Like, I don't even know who.
The only person I really care about is who they cast as Ganondorf.
I was about to say, are we getting Ganondorf?
My dream is Clancy Brown, the man who plays Mr. Krabs, but he's also got like really good, he's got a really good agent because he's in a lot of good movies because he's got a beautiful voice. The man has a beautiful voice, and I need Ganondorf to also have like a beautiful, menacing voice. If not Clancy Brown, Keith David, something like that.
What if it was Idris Elba?
Oh my god, yes, please. I actually pictured, in my head canon, because I like to imagine what a live action Zelda movie would be like. For some reason, I'd picture Idris Elba as an old wise guy, wise man, depending on when that movie would even come out. But no, I think, oh man, he would be a good Ganondorf. He really would.
For Zelda, what if we had Anna Taylor-Joy continuing the...
Stop it.
She just plays
Mario
every
movie.
Nintendo princess.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Jeez.
God, I just want to stress how excited I am for this news, even with the fear of how horrible it could possibly turn out. But the Mario movie gave me faith, and I'm really excited to see what a Nintendo-led Zelda picture looks like. I remember when the rumor came out 8 years ago now of the Zelda live action Netflix series, and I was so stoked then. And we're finally now having it come to fruition, essentially, with this movie news, which I think is even more exciting. But that means it's gonna have a budget. A show, they have to stretch a thinner budget. This is gonna have, I hope, a big budget, probably at least $100 million to match a Mario movie, probably more.
I guarantee you, this is going to cost. This is going to be a $200 million movie.
Yeah, I think
guaranteed.
You're probably right.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Yeah, it really is. But I don't know. I could also see $100 million because maybe they are kind of okay, we need to set the stage with this first movie because they're planning a trilogy, and maybe scale back on some things. Don't introduce all the races yet. Don't just shove Rito, Goron, Zoras all in the same movie firsthand. A lot of this is good. A lot of the challenge Nintendo's going to have is introducing, maybe newer viewers to this world. Maybe.
Oh my god!
And that was the logic behind, I guess, the Monster Hunter movie with the stupid logic, but you get somebody from another world and you transport them to this new world, and the person is the link. He's the link between the audience and the game. But I just feel that no, you don't have to do that.
Oh, with that Link idea now gave me the, where they go full on Deadpool with this, and Link's a fourth wall breaking character, constantly working at the camera and making jokes. What's even the tone of this movie? It has to have humor. So who's making the jokes? Is Navi accompanying him on this journey? Is she gonna be a funny little Tinkerbell-like character? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Princess Bride, I don't think I mentioned that yet. That is a great tone. They can somehow
that's true.
Figure that out. Remake Princess Bride essentially. And I think that if they can nail that, that would be actually perfect. Actually might be a cool way of setting it up. Actually, like Princess Bride, is since it is The Legend of Zelda, maybe there can be a storyteller element to this too, and that's how you tie together future movies as well, which could have a different cast of characters, or different actors portraying these characters across different eras.
Story.
They're gonna save that storybook for the 1,000-Year Door movie. It's gonna happen.
That would be amazing.
Here's a fun question. Since we talked a little bit about casting, we talked a little bit about now the storybook thing. As a funny question, will Chris Pratt be in this movie too?
I think they're gonna avoid most of the cast members from the Mario movie.
That's what I think, but I also think there would be something really funny if he had some sort of cameo. Like, I'm not saying I want it. I just think there'd be something really funny if he's just here again in another video game adaptation by Nintendo.
I need Miyamoto to make a cameo in this movie. And Eiji Aonuma. I need them to make cameos in this movie. I need Link in like a sword training montage, and he fumbles a move so much, and then the camera pans to like a villager who like lifts up his hood and does this.
Hear me out.
Okay.
The old men that you find in caves from like the classic Zeldas, it's like Eiji Aonuma and like Miyamoto and like hoods with like fake beards and everything. And it's they're the ones that have the wise men. The wise men.
Oh, I actually love that idea. Yeah, they have to have cameos. Get some Nintendo cameos in there because they're probably your only opportunity for it. It's just, again, so wild to me that they're making this live action. I thought for sure they would go CG after the Mario movie. And one thing that this does kind of kill, I guess, is the idea of there being a Smash Brothers type movie.
Oh, totally.
Like, that can't happen now, at least without reinventing how Link looks,
no
of course.
Nintendo Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, exactly. That dream's dead.
I'm fine with this after the trend of, wow, the MCU is really successful. We should do that too, from like everything.
Yeah.
I think it's actually rather refreshing. We're not seemingly getting another cinematic universe.
For real.
That's a good point. Well, any final thoughts on the preliminary details of the Zelda movie that we haven't discussed yet?
Even though we barely know anything about it, just the confirmation, not a rumor, not like after decades of this. The fact that we have an actual confirmation of this happening
out of nowhere,
I'm stoked. Like, this is my favorite video game series. This is gonna be so special to me. I cannot wait.
Yeah, mark
Even
your
if
calendar.
we're waiting like 8 years, who knows? Yeah. And mark your calendars for when, Joey?
Mark your calendars. Remember this day, November 7th, 2023 at 2 p.m. Pacific. Nintendo just tweeted a bombshell. I'm just like, I don't expect anything on a Tuesday afternoon. Whoa, bombshell, baby.
Out of the freaking blue. There weren't even rumblings of this happening that I know of, at least nothing credible or widespread. Mm-hmm. And, especially, rather, the live action element, more specifically. There have been rumors of, like, the Illumination follow-up, and that's probably the most shocking part about this, is, again, not the fact that it's a Zelda movie in existence, because, of course, Mario movie was huge, but that's live action. It's like, that's actually a pretty bold choice. Can they make it work? And God, I hope so, because I need it to work. I've been wanting this movie for decades, like the Mario movie, and I'm just so happy it's finally happening. I just really hope that they figure out how to do it service, because it's not going to be an easy job, it's going to be filled with challenges.
Nothing good ever comes easy, and that's what's probably going to make this a beautiful movie. We shall see, of course. Maybe it'll get like, the critics might not like it as much, but the fans will. But I really hope both love it. I feel like if there's one movie you really got to like appeal to like both parties,
it's Zelda.
Zelda has a lot of great cinematic potential, and like Mario, you could play it more safe, like just take some liberties there. But Zelda, it's just like, this could be like the video game version of Lord of the Rings. Like, I bring up Lord of the Rings all the time because they're the quintessential medieval fantasy movies. Like, I don't think the Zelda movies are going to be anywhere close to as good as that, but they could be like this generation's Lord of the Rings. The critics would say that in the trailers,
That'd be amazing. Like, I just want to hear the Zelda theme. Those notes on the big screen. It's going to be amazing, especially considering that Nintendo's like seemingly kind of stepped away from that theme. It's like not really a focal point anymore.
Yeah.
So hearing that fully orchestrated on the big screen, it's going to be amazing, regardless of how the rest of the movie turns out. At least that part will be special, and but it's going to be in there. And I can't wait. I'm just really excited for this. Even have to wait, until I'm in my mid-40s for this to actually come out. I hope it's not that long. We'll see. Real quick, what year? We had to predict a year, actually. When do you think?
2027.
I was gonna say like late 2026, early 2027 is what I'm thinking.
This needs to be a holiday movie. I'm just saying. I think it needs to be a holiday movie.
Mario movie wasn't.
It wasn't. It was supposed to be, but then it got delayed.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking, I always associate Zelda with the holidays, even though, like, I guess most games have come out in the summer in the past. I'm not sure. It's always this holiday thing for me.
They want that prime James Cameron December slot,
Okay, by the time the Zelda movie comes out, we'll have Avatar 3. Bet.
You know what? That's fair. That's a fair assumption.
I predict 2028. I think it's gonna have a full 5-year development cycle, and I think it's gonna be.
I think that's
a lot of
reasonable.
time in pre-production. So hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. Well, with that, everyone, those are our thoughts and early predictions, hopes, whatever, for the Zelda movie coming from Sony and Nintendo. What a weird collaboration. Which is actually, it goes all the way back to the original CDI accessory that never got made for the Super Nintendo. Let's hope this one doesn't get canceled like that did, and then leads to a whole, like, crazy PlayStation spin-off. In any case, everyone, thanks for watching. Let us know your comments in the, let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you excited for this? Are you scared? We want to hear it all. And with that, we'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.